Hello my viewer, welcome to Kate's Crochet, and today we are working on this baby girl's sweater. I've done it in two colors, and I've worked it using two different stitches. For the body and part of the hands, I used embossed diagonal stitch, and for the front and for the yellow parts of the hands, I used just the normal single crochet. So now to work this, we need two different sizes of hooks. In this case, I'm using 2.5 for this part and this other part, and for the body I'm using 4 millimeters. Yes, we also need a pair of scissors. We also need a tape measure, and of course yarn. Yes, so now we start. This sweater is worked in parts. We are going to start with the back part, then we do two front sides, two pieces of front, and then this part is done when you are completely done with the joining of the parts. Like for example, I have these parts done, this being the back. This is a smaller sweater, so this is the back and these are two fronts. Yeah, so we are going to start with the back part, and we are starting down here, and I worked this using single crochet on back loop, and that is what we are going to start with. So now we are going to start by making a slip knot. Guys, sorry for the noise at the background. There is construction going on just around here, and I'm sorry for that. So we start by making a slip knot, and using the smaller hook we are going to work 10 chains, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. The reason why we are using a smaller hook, it's because we want that these parts to be a little bit tighter than the body, so we are using a smaller hook. So I have my chains of 10. I skip the first chain, and onto the second I'm going to make a single crochet. We continue making single crochets up to the end. This is a stitch we usually do most of time. Yeah, so we continue doing single crochets until we get to the end of this row, and I'm nearing the end, and that is my last chain. So we chain one and we turn, and now we are going to be working on the back loop. We have two loops. We have this front, the one which is near you, and the one which is the other side. That is where we are going to be working. So we work single crochets on the back loop to the end of the row. Continue doing singles, on the back of the stitches. And this is all that we are going to do until we get our desired size of these back parts, the downside of this back part. So when you get to the end, you chain one and turn. You skip the first stitch to the second. You work a single crochet on the back loop. Yeah, so you continue. And something I forgot to tell you is that this stitch is worked in multiples of 4. So whatever the length that you're going to make your foundation, make sure that the stitches, when you count, it's a multiple of 4 plus 2 chains. All right, so now I have already done that part. Here is my single crochets, also in multiples of 4. So this one, this sweater, I'm working using 48 chains. This one I did 44, which is a smaller sweater than this one. So now when we count these ribbed parts, if you want to do like the one that I'm doing, which is 48, these ones should be 24. These ribs here should be 24, so that it becomes 48, because one ribbing, you are going to work 2 stitches, one here and the one on this ridge, another one here and another one on this ridge. All right, so these ones are 24 plus the one which is already holding the yarn, and the last one here, which now becomes 50 chains. So now when we get our desired size here, we are going to change the size of our hook. We get the bigger hook, and now we chain 2, and we start making double crochets. I hope you can see this. Now we start making double crochets. Or let's do this. We still continue working with a smaller hook, because these stitches here are tight because of the hook that we used. So we are going to do double crochets here with the same hook that we used, and then we change when we get to the other side. So now we make double crochets. You continue doing double crochets until you get to the end of this row. All right, so continue doing this, and I meet you on the other side. So I've come to the end of this, and we need to double check our stitches, because if it's going to be more or less, it's not going to work as it's supposed to work. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25. So it's 48 plus 2 chains. So now we change the hook. So now on this side we are going to chain 2, and we are going to work 4 front posts double crochets. All right, so we skip the first chain because of the chain 3, and we work 4 front posts. That is 1 2 3 and 4. You will understand why I'm saying we work in multiples of 4 when we get to the end of this row. So we have 4 front post double crochets. Again, we work 4 back posts double crochets. If you are a beginner, I have a video for back post and front posts. You can go and check that. And this is the 4th back post double crochet. Right, So we continue alternating this to the end of this row. Again, we work 4 front posts, double crochets. That is 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one goes there. So continue alternating 4 front posts and 4 back posts until you get to the end of this row, and I meet you on that other side. So I've finished working my double crochets, which are back posts, and on the last stitch, which is a chain of 2, we make 1 normal double crochet there. We chain 2 and we turn our work, and now we work these stitches just as they are. These are front posts, we just work them as they are. So we work 4 front post double crochets, we go to the next and work 4 back post double crochets, those are 4. So now we go to the next and work 4 back posts, and we continue doing this to the end of the row. So continue working this, and I meet you on the other side when you are done with this row. So I'm at the end of this row, and I finish with 1 double crochet on that chain stitch. I chain 2 and turn my work, and now this is where we are going to start forming the stitch. So now on the first set of 4 stitches are front posts, and on the first stitch here after the chain stitch we are going to work a back post double crochet on that stitch. If it's you finished this double crochets with a back post, so now we are going to do the opposite, front post. So now the remaining 3 front posts, we are going to work them just as they are. So we do 3 front posts, we have 3, and we are going to make 1 more front post from the back post here, such that now we have 4 front posts. We have 3 back posts here. We are going to work them as they are, and then on this other stitch here we make it a back post. All right, so we work 3 back posts on the 3 which are already there. That is 1, 2, and 3, and on the next we also make it a back post. It's like claiming the next stitch to be part of the previous. So we make that to be a back post. So whenever we claim 1, we are left with 3. We claim next, we are left with 3. We claim next, we only claim 1. So we work these front posts as they are, the 3 of them, and then we claim the next one to be a front post. In the next, work 3 back posts just as they are, and claim the next to be part of that. Those are 3, and because we need 4, we claim the next. This is to ensure that all your stitches are worked in sets of 4 except in the beginning and at the ending here. Now, like here we have 1 back post, so here we are going to have 3. When we have 2 here, we have 2 here. When we have 3 here, we have 1 here. So the beginning and the ending are going to balance. So we continue doing this You work the 3 as they are, and then we claim the next one to complete that set, to make that to be 4. This is where the diagonal now starts forming. So continue working this until you get to the other side of this row, and I meet you on that other side. So I'm at the end of this row, and I finished with 3 back posts, and the reason because they are 3, it's because we have 1 in the beginning. So we finish with a normal double crochet here on the chain stitch. We chain 2 and turn our work, and now from this side we are going to work the stitches as they are, right? So now the front posts, we work them as front posts, not claiming on this side. We just work them as they are. So you'll continue working them as they are, and I meet you at the end of this row to show you how to finish and how to begin another row. See you there. So at the end here, I finish with 1 front post and a double crochet. Alright, so again I chain 2, I turn my work. So now I have 1 back post double crochet as the first stitch, and I work it as it is, and on the next stitch I'm going to claim 1. So I claim the next one, which is front post, I make it a back post, and now on that I'm left with 3. I work them as they are, 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to claim again 1 to make that 4. I'm going to work the next as they are, so 3 back posts, I have 3 back posts, and I'm going to claim the next to make that 4 back posts. It's just like repeating the other row. So I continue doing this, claiming 1 more stitch to make that to be 4. So continue doing this, and I get you on the other side of this row. So I come at the end of this row, and I have 2 back posts here, and I finish with 1 double crochet there. I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, and now from this side I'm going to work these stitches as they are. Remember, we also did that in the 4th row, right? So we work them as they are. So basically we are going to be claiming in 1 row, and in the next row we work them as they are to grow them or to make them more elongated, so that as the stitches now start forming the diagonal pattern, they are long stitches. So from this side, work them as they are, and I meet you on the other side as we finish this row. So now I finished this row with 1 normal double crochet on the chain stitch. I chain 2 and turn my work. So now as you can see, the stitches are now started forming the diagonal. They are going that way. Alright, so we continue doing what we were doing by claiming the stitches. We have 2 back posts here. We work them as they are, and then we claim the third one. We work these 3 front posts as they are, and then we claim the next to make that 4. And so this is what we are going to continue doing. You claim in this row. When you turn in the next row, you work the stitches as they are. You turn again. Now here we have 3. When you start claiming in the other row, you will work them as they are and claim this next one, such that you will have 4 here. So once you have 4 here, every other stitch is going to be 4. So the stitches are going to balance, every part having 4 stitches, whether front or back. Once you finish that, I'll get back to you and show how and what to do next. So you work that until this part is filled with 4 double crochets, whether front or back, depends with the number of chains that you started with. So when you have 4 in the beginning here, and on every other stitch here, that is when I'm going to get back to you and show you what next. So now I have claimed all stitches. In the beginning here, I have 4 back posts. So now I chain 2 and turn to make the last row of this set, which is just working the stitches as they are. In this stitch, it's like working in sets. So this is like the first set, which is complete because we've completed. If you want to know your set is complete, now we have 4 stitches here and 4 stitches in the other side. So this row is the final row of this set, and we work the stitches just as they are, and I meet you at the end. So this is complete, and what I mean by completing set is when you look at the beginning, we began with 4 stitches here, which were front posts, and now we finished with 4 back posts. So you know your set is complete when you have 4 stitches on each part here. Alright, both back posts and front posts. So in between here we were claiming, so we claimed all that until now we have 4 here and 4 here, and it's like the equation is balanced, right? So now we continue, and it is now like repeating the whole process of this. So I just want to show you this. We chain 2 and turn. Now we have 4 back posts here. So now we begin by claiming the first stitch as the front post, as a front post I mean, and we work the rest, the 3 other stitches as they are, and we claim the next, so that we have 4. It's just repeating the same process that we repeated in the first set. So we work the next 3 as they are, and we claim next. So we continue doing this. When you get to the end of this row, you chain 2 and turn your work, and on the other row you do the stitches as they are. When you get to the other row, you claim the next stitch, and you continue doing all that, and you repeat that until you get your desired size of your back. Whether you are doing it for an adult or a kid, you do according to the size of the person that you're working for. So now after you are done with the back part, for the front part, it's just like this, only that now you work small pieces, which is this side and this other side. So for this we did 48 chains plus 2. For the front, you can decide to work 22 for each, such that you are working with 20 plus a chain of 2. Yeah, so you work 2 parts like this one. These are 2 front parts. So this is the back, here is the back. I told you this is for a newborn, so it's a bit small. So here is the back, which I did. This is where the first set ended. We worked until the second set ended here and the third set, right? And then we have the 2 fronts here. So now we get to joining these parts, the back parts and the front parts, right? So you stretch your work. You know, when it's not joined, it squeezes itself. You can see how the how small now is. So you need to stretch it. And now you get your pieces. The side that we want to be outside is the part that we began with front posts. So you bring that to the outside, and which is like that. This will be the inside. Again, you check with the front. The part which is going to be outside. So we are going to stitch it. It's the other way, because we stitch from inside, so that when we turn, these are going to be the outside, right? So you make sure you arrange your work well. Again, with the other parts, you do the same. So this will be the inside, this will also be in the inside, so that when we turn, this will be the outside, right? So now we get our darning needle. And if you've not watched it, this set, I did a video for unboxing this set. So I have a darning needle, unlike what I used before. So I'm using this, and I have an excess yarn here, so you can see. So now, before we start joining the parts together, we need to mark our the armholes, so that we do not stitch all that. So for a baby like this age, you are going to measure from top here where you finished your work, and at least we are going to measure around 4.5 inches. So at this point, we mark here. We are going to stitch up to this point. And on the other side, we do the same. Yeah. So that now when we start stitching this together, our armholes are left. So now I'm going to use the excess yarn that I left. We thread it to this darning needle, and one good thing about this darning needle is that it has a big hole, so no struggle whether you are using a string as a single strand or double or chunky yarn. Threading is not an issue. So now we are going to pass this yarn through here. It's just like starting here, but now the yarn is on the other side, so now we want to bring it down. So we just pass it through some stitches here. Until it gets here, or just cut the yarn from here and now start stitching from here. So now let's start joining these two pieces together. You can hide this excess yarn while stitching, so make sure your two parts are aligned together. None is longer than the other, yeah, and we now stitch them together. You just need to take your time, no rushing, because when you rush you're going to make these stitches uneven. So continue joining. I'm hiding this excess yarn as I join these two parts. Don't make them too tight because they are going to look messy. So continue joining the two parts. So you join until you get to where we did the marking of the armholes. So I'm at the point where we put our stitch marker, and I make sure that at that place I secure my yarn so that it does not come out after. So just do a few stitches there to ensure that is so secure, and use a scissors and cut the excess yarn. So now we've stitched one part. We are going to do the same with the other parts. We are going to stitch this until we get to our stitch marker. So again, we repeat the same process. So continue doing this until we get to the stitch marker. So I'm at the stitch marker and I secure my yarn just as I did on the other side. I make sure that is neatly and securely done by just making a few stitches on that, and then I secure and I cut the excess yarn. So now again we are going to join this upper part, the upper shoulder part. This we are going to join from here to here, and we do the same on this other side. So join these two and I meet you. So our sides are now done. This is the wrong side which we joined from. So now we need to turn this to the right side. It looks small, I know. So now for this video we are going to end at this point, which is our part 1, and so stay tuned for our part 2, which is going to be doing the arms of the ants and the front side, which is basically we are going to be doing rounds and rounds and rounds until these two meet. As you can see, there is some gap between these two parts, so this is where we are going to be working until we fill this space as is seen here, right? So we've done up to this part and the back side, so we are coming back with part 2 to do the arms and the front side. So thank you so much for viewing this video. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you are not member coming back, we say a big thank you. Share this video with your friends and family, yeah, and let's learn together. So goodbye for now.